valid. Talmud Leimar min atayrim v'lei kol atayrim. Min b'nei yoina v'lei kol b'nei yoina. It says from the doves, from the young pigeons. It's coming to make to exclude something from them, but not all of them. Prat. What is it being excluded here? The tchilas hatziyav shebezeh bezeh. The beginning of its yellowing in this and that. Shapasal. That is not valid. When are the doves permissible? Mishiazhiva, when they become golden. That means when they're mature. When are the young pigeons invalid? Mishiazhiva, when they become yellow. So that middle stage from the yellow to turning gold, that's the stage when the young ones are already are already too old, and the older ones are not old enough. Tani Yaakov Karcha. I'm curious what the Steinzel says about this name.
Yaakov Karcha taught in a Bais.
There's no note over there. Okay. Karcha, you know what it says. Yeshua ben Karcha was that his Rabbi Shua was the son of Rabbi Akiva, but Rabbi Akiva was bald. And Ben Azai says that everyone here is comparable to the comparable to the peel of an onion compared to his learning, except for Menachem, except for this bald one, which was referring to Rabbi Akiva. So, and that's they say Rabbi Shua ben Karcha is the son of Rabbi Akiva. Anyway, I read in the Sefer that when you learn, can you associate the names of the Amoraim with people that you know to help you remember? So I read in the Sefer, the Yehuda Arya Medina was an Italian rabbi, Leon Medina in English, a fascinating person. But he has this thing about memorizing all the Torah, all the mitzvahs in the Torah, and he says that you should associate Abaya with your father, you should associate Rabbi Akiva with. That's why when you're learning the Gemara, you imagine that your father was saying this, or someone tall, or Reb Tarfon, or all of these things, just to help you in this to remember. It's interesting.
So who was like an onion?
Benazai says that everyone, to me, all the sages are like an onion, except for Rabbi Akiva. So, but anyway, okay. Tani Yaakov Karcha. Yaakov Karcha taught. Me'imasai b'nei yoina ksherim. From when are the young pigeons valid? Now, Rashi says that what we're saying here is not when they're too old. Now we're saying, at what stage from their birth are they valid? In other words, when are they eligible? Because apparently when they're first born, there's
nothing there.
They're hatched.
When they're just hatched, they look like insects type of thing, like
repugnant.
What is it? Repugnant. They're the Muslim Rashi says, but this is similar. In the discussion, if there's a blood spot in the egg, what makes it forbidden, or if it's beginning to become an embryo, so why is it forbidden? Some say that it's because it's a sheret, it's just a creeping creature. So, right when it's born, it has that form that it's like it's not presentable yet. So the Gemara says Mishi Yalu. When it's Yalu, we're going to see what that means. It's a certain stage of its development. Hu Tanila v'hu Armala. He taught this, and he also explains. Efreichav Yalu Dam. It's birds. It's fledglings, I guess. They have this Yalu Dam. What does that mean? Emas. When is that? Amar Abaya. Mechishamet gadfa minei b'asidama. When the wing is removed and the blood comes.
Feather.
Gadfa could mean a feather or a wing.
Take off a wing, it's going to bleed.
Right.
I don't think
Right.
with a check if you take off a wing.
Right. How in the article it says a feather? A feather? Okay. So when the feather is removed and blood comes out, so that's considered that it's already eligible to be it's old enough to be brought. There's a few
It can't be
translations.
the other way. If you remove the wing, you just made a total nevela. You made it possible to be.
Yeah.
No, but
Well,
it's not talking about.
So we're
it
just
doesn't-
talking about a simon.
Right, you're not actually.
how
gonna pull the wing
old
out.
is it? How old does it need to be able to be brought?
Oh, chicken.
It needs to be old enough that if you would have.
Right.
Oh,
So, Tosfos says,
Don't get any ideas here.
It's only chicken wing. You only in the Super Bowl, Dodgers time.
It says over here how old. It says 8 days old.
8 days old. Was that a quote from the Rambam?
It just doesn't say.
It doesn't say. Okay, there's different ways of translating Yalu. It could be that the ayin is exchanged for a tzaddik, and it's tsela, which means some sort of wing or side. Menachem, Tosfos quotes Menachem. Menachem had a grammar book, calls it Machberes, his notebook, which says that it's Yalu means that it's absorbed, which actually means that when it eats. Probably it's referring to a bird that
Sounds like El Al Airlines.
I don't know if this is gonna
Like a breast meal, the blood is absorbed.
yeah, but I think he means that when a vulture or one of these animals, one of these birds that like eat the carcass, when they're ready to eat, to pounce and to eat their prey, then that's old enough. Whatever that age is, those are not kosher birds, but whatever that age is, that would be the age that this would be, that the pigeons were old enough at least to eat on their own, not like their mothers, whatever. Okay, boy Reb Zera. Reb Zera is a very interesting question.
The reason when they're going to eat by themselves is when they start to fly. Until then, they cannot move someplace. So the mother have to feed them. When the first flight they take, then they can capture their animals, or they can go pick up from the ground.
Right, that's the big development. The bar mitzvah of the...
But mitzvah, first flight, when they get the wings.
Reb Zera has this question. Ha'omer, harei alai olam en ha'torem, oimen b'nei ha'yoina, v'hei b'tchilas hatziv shebezel b'zeh mahu. This is like an incredible question. You see, there's the middle age, the teenage of these birds, which are not valid for the ones that need to be young, and they're too young for the ones that need to be old. Reb Zera is questioning, why is it like that? There's two possibilities. One is because we don't know what they are. Are they young or are they old? So therefore we made them all invalid. Why? Because we don't know. The other possibility is we do know what they are. They're a different breed. At that stage, it's
They're
a
not
third.
named and they're
It's a
not named.
third category. There's young, there's old, and then there's the middle. So listen to the way Reb Zera puts the question. Someone says, "I'm going to bring either from the Tairim or from the Bnei Yaina," and then he brings both, and he brings both at the age that's in the middle, at the middle age, at that intermediate age. So if we say that it's a doubt, I don't know if they're mature. I don't know in other words, there's only two stages to a bird's life. There's young and old. That middle stage, we just don't know. So here, because he promised that he's going to bring both, he's going to bring either one.
Two different breeds?
No, I'm saying there's these two possible birds, but there's two stages in the bird's life.
Stages.
There's young and old.
Which bird did he bring?
He
both.
brings both, and he pledged
A
both
dove and a pigeon.
a dove and a pigeon, but he pledged that he's going to bring either doves or pigeons. That was his pledge. And he brings doves and pigeons, which means he could fulfill his obligation with just one of them, but he brings them at this intermediate stage. So one of them is definitely valid. It's either mature or it's either young, unless I say that other possibility that it's a third.
I don't understand.
Not necessarily.
Why would you say that either of them is valid if they're two different breeds?
Yeah, but
It's two different animals.
But you have the
You
young
bring
one.
a goat and you bring a bull.
But he only has to
Even
bring
if
one.
you had the
He only has
suffix
to bring
in
one.
either, but neither of them made it. They're
Yeah,
both
but
in
it's
the
either
suffix.
or.
No.
The Menachem.
You only
Either or.
say either or in the same animal, but in two different
He
breeds.
said
No.
I could bring from
No.
this animal or
Here's
from
the
that
thing.
animal.
We have a question.
Doesn't have
If
to have a
Tchilas
separate
Hatziv, the beginning of yellowing, is considered a child or is considered an adult?
In
We have a
which-
question.
In which breed? Which one?
That's a general
In the ram
question.
In the
or
bird-
That's it.
or in the-
Oh, I
or in
see
the
what you're
bull?
saying. I see what
bird
you're saying.
What's
I
the
see what you're
difference?
saying. I see what you're
If
saying.
it's a
The Gemara is
suffix
not
in a lamb,
viewing.
it's a suffix in a lamb. It's a
The
suffix-
Gemara is not
Unless
viewing
they're
it.
one breed.
The Gemara is viewing it that this is a doubt that we have across all breeds. I'm following your answer, but
Okay.
the Gemara is viewing it
Okay.
that this is a question that we have: is this considered mature or is it considered immature? That stage. So now, if I say that you have that it's a doubt to us, and now he brought both, so he definitely one of them has to be good. We don't know which one, but one of them was that he doesn't have to bring any other birds. But-
Why is one of them good if they're in the doubt? Each one is in the doubt.
because one of them was valid if it's a child. The other one is valid if it's an adult.
But
And I
they're
brought
both
both of
in
them at that same age.
both in
So it's either a child or an adult. One of them had to be valid. Do you follow?
No, because I thought either one in that
remember.
in-between stage
Is invalid.
is invalid.
Why?
Because
I'll
of
tell
the
you why.
suffix.
Because if you pledge pigeons and you bring it at that stage, well, maybe it's too old. If you pledge doves and you bring it at that stage, maybe it's too young. This person pledged, I'm either going to bring doves or pigeons. And then he went and he brought both, which he didn't have to. He brought both. But he brought them both, doves and pigeons, at the intermediate stage. So I'm going to look at his pigeons. I'll say, well, maybe it's too old. I'll look at his doves. I'll say, maybe they're too young.
Are you
But now I'm going to say
that
1
a
second.
Fake is already not such a thing.
But I'll say,
It's a double
I'll
suffix.
say, but 1 second. If I'm going to say that it's too old for the pigeons, that means that it's an adult. Then it's definitely good for the
Since you
for the
brought them
doves.
both together.
But Chaim's question, but they're two different birds.
So the
you
Gemara's not
can't
viewing
apply
it like
one to
that.
the
The
other.
Gemara's viewing it that this is an age that we don't know across all the birds.
What is the answer now?
Okay, Sveika Havi. Is it a doubt? V'nafik, and he was Yaitza, because it has to be one or the other. Idilma, Ber Yahavi, or maybe it's its own breed. And that means there's 3 stages to the development, and this is not young, and it's not young and it's not old. It's in the middle. V'lei nafik. The educators for sure would like to say that teenagers are their own breed. They're not the. It's just something else.
Teenagers is double digits of the terrible twos. That's all.
That's interesting. And, the terrible twos, if you're a yeki, it comes only when you're 2. But if you're not a yeki, they can come at all different. Okay.
Tosfos says that it's in Bamas B'nai
Taisus, it's an unbelievable Taisus over here.
How could he be that he brought it?
Taisus has a question over here. Taisus' question is that you can't. He's bringing both. You can't bring both because one of them is clearly not valid. Even if you say no, but you can't make a t'nai if one of them is no good. You're bringing it on the mizbeach.
You're not bringing
You
it
can't
on
bring it on the
the-
mizbeach. So Taisus gives 3 answers here. One answer is that okay, he committed a crime, but nevertheless we want to know
Did the guy
did he
get it?
fulfill his obligation. Second answer is that he's bringing it on a bama where you don't have that problem of the age for some reason on the bama. There was a third answer. Oh, that was his third answer. Second answer is this amazing answer. He says he's bringing it to the Kayan, and he's already satisfied his vow. He brought it to the Kayan, he satisfied his vow. Which one's the Kayan's going to bring?
That's his
That's something else.
It's his
Rabbi
answer.
Kiveger says, what?
What if the coin doesn't bring it on the Mizbeach? Does he satisfy his vow?
That's the problem. The Rabbi Kiveger says,
saying in
you
general.
usually not.
Okay.
If the Kayan, we have all these halachas, if the Kayan brings an animal shalei lishma, so it says the animal was valid, but the owner didn't fulfill his obligation. So it's not bringing it to the Kayan, it's bringing it on the altar, or else we would have said, what do you mean, Layala Bailam L'Shem Chayfa? You brought it to the Kayan, that's good enough. Anyway, okay. Amar Rava Tashema. Rava says, come and listen. Prat l'tchilat tzasiv shebezel b'zeh shepasel. It says that middle stage, by this and this, is both pasel. I amrit b'shleima ber yahavi. In other words, I learned from a pasuk min. It says from not all of them, only from the young pigeons or the doves, not all of them. So the pasuk is telling me, if I say that it's its own breed, that stage, then shaper, it's good. The Torah is telling me that this third age, this is not valid. But if I say it's a doubt, does the pasuk tell me what to do when there's a doubt? God knows if it's mature or if it's young. We don't know. So for us, we have to be strict. But the Torah doesn't need to go and tell me what to do when there's a doubt. That for God it's not a doubt, and for us we have to be strict. So I can't have a pasuk telling me that. So it must be that it's a beria. We'll learn tomorrow.